into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
What up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to our face-off wrap-up show for Season 8, Episode 13, lucky number 13. Full steam ahead. Let's get going, guys. So, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Also, be sure to check us out on iTunes and on SoundCloud as well. And tweet us your thoughts and your comments on the show. You can find us on Twitter by using that hashtag ABTVFaceoff. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan, because I am indeed Alana Jordan. And with me today is...
Well, my name is Aaron, and you can find me on Twitter at AAMOmusic.
And I'm Emma Fyffe. You can find me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe.
And I'm Alexis Torres, and you can find me all over the social media as atorres890.
Awesome. So, this was an interesting episode. I'm going to be honest, not my favorite.
Nah.
Nope. It was kind of I would just say for an episode that is the one before the finale, when you're supposed to be really getting hyped.
Yeah.
This one was not one of the more exciting ones. It was a
Yeah,
little boring.
Yeah, I basically think you mean, like, instead of interesting, it was just a boring episode. Yeah. It was just...
It's a roundabout way of saying
yeah.
this was indeed kind of a boring episode.
Was interesting, and by interesting, I mean the opposite of interesting.
Well, Glenn even said this is one of the closest competitions that we've had.
Yeah.
And Emma, your comment made me laugh out loud because we're watching and she goes, yeah, because none of them were really that interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, that's 100% correct.
Yeah, I mean, something that we were talking about when we were watching just a few minutes ago was that we feel like this challenge, they basically were like, we're gonna do steampunk because Glenn really likes it.
Yay!
That's it. We see when the contestants, they're out and they have to choose one of the locations. It's an Old West steampunk challenge.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of got this expression like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, I know that's a thing. And then Glenn walks out just stoked on
I
light.
know.
And I think that's the problem with this episode was when you're going to have a challenge that's as specific as steampunk, that should be one that's earlier on in the competition because all of the contestants should be really excited about whatever the subject material is this late in the game.
And when you have a bigger pool of contestants to choose from, say if they had done this previously when there were still 10 people around, chances are you'd get 1 or 2 people that were really into steampunk.
Right.
And would have created something really interesting because they are so passionate about it. But the 4 remaining contestants, the only one that said, I kind of like steampunk was Logan.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this was really just a challenge where we've been commenting on how awesome Mackenzie looks. Glenn just came walking out badass in this one.
Did.
I was like, this whole episode, my favorite part was just Glenn walking out like, create me. Go for it, contestant.
This was Glenn's equivalent of Pride. He came out, like, wearing, like, just the least amount of clothing and was in all black.
I also did love in the setup for this episode when they were all walking through the town and Darla's reaction was, why is Mackenzie wearing a dress and heels out in the wilderness? And also, why are we in a western town? It wasn't a town. It was a set.
Wasn't it just the Universal lot?
No, it was the Paramount Ranch.
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that. I think I was making notes or making pictures or something at that point in time.
Well, that's something that we can recognize pretty easily.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Yeah, if it had been Universal, don't worry. We would have started the episode by saying they went to the Universal lot. lot, and then they made the most boring episode ever created
Yeah.
on the Universal lot.
Which, interestingly, they went to the Universal lot a lot last season, and they haven't gone at all this season.
It is weird, but I like that you said a lot. And it made sense.
It did.
So, for this challenge, we did have, I think, a pretty... This was such a hard one to say that there was really a clear winner, because I started to say that, and then it's one that somebody who was on the bottom had, I think, the best concept. But we'll just dive right in.
Yeah.
Our winner, Emily, rocked it out.
Yes, she did.
Rocked it out. And she even said youngest contestant ever on Face Off.
And the first person to be accepted as a competitor in the finale.
Yep.
Are you even surprised though? She's just
No.
been consistently amazing throughout
Yeah.
each challenge, anything they throw at her, she creates something magnificent.
Yeah, and that is actually something that Neville pointed out when they were discussing her makeup, is that Emily is absolutely fearless in 3 categories, which were application,
Fabrication, concept,
and form. Exactly. And I mean, that is something that Emily, her application is really good, and her concepts are creative and interesting and define her as a makeup artist. I feel Emily has a very clear vision and style, which I think we definitely see in this makeup. And, you know, she struggled with what she was going to do with the face. And ultimately, Glenn, the king of steampunk, said that he really liked what she did with the face and thought it was a very clever way to incorporate that sort of gas mask element that she put on the guy, which makes sense for this character because he would be, you know, breathing in embalming fluids because he's supposed to be the Undertaker.
I think this episode is just a clear example of just how Emily has grown in the competition
Yes.
too. Because before she was just doing what she really liked, and then now she's figured out a way to do what she really likes and still incorporate the theme and make it awesome.
I totally agree. And her vacuum forming the baby powder bottles
That is
to
genius.
create the containers for the different embalming fluids was amazing. And literally, she just painted the insides of them. And
Well, what was crazy, she mixes hair gel with acrylic
exactly.
paint inside the vacuum form of baby powder bottles. She looks, it's how we were talking about with Mike last episode. If you didn't watch it, go watch it.
yeah, it'll make you
After
want to
this
be
one.
on Face Off.
But when he says these makeup artists look at an avocado and they go, oh, the skin texture on this is phenomenal. And I look at that and I'm like, are we going to go and get some guacamole there?
Yeah.
So it's just the way her brain works. She looks around the lab and says, here are just some things. I'm going to create something amazing out of it and have it be a core part of the character.
And I mean, that's something we definitely saw that exact same idea last week with the doll challenge when she found the woven crepe hair and just made molds out of that.
She just is consistently making genius choices.
Yeah.
And for somebody that young, it really makes me feel like I need to step up my game in life. Because when I was 18, I sure as hell was not making anything that looked anything like that.
Maybe
I
my
wasn't even making my
imagination.
bed.
I think they looked awesome. No, but I also agree with you. I feel like even though she is the youngest, just the fact that the raw talent that comes out of every creation that she makes is phenomenal. The age factor just kind of is that sprinkle of awesome.
Yeah.
So I like that. I don't know. Me personally.
And she always does just great paint jobs as well, and this was no exception. V commented on the fact that the paint job on the skin and the color of the skin was just really nice.
She did a really great job too of really sticking to the challenge.
Yes.
Which that was ultimately what sent Adam home, was kind of going too far in the creative realm, whereas this one is very creative, and it's you wouldn't immediately think steampunk Western Undertaker. That would not be the image that would pop in most people's minds.
No.
But she makes it work so well, and it perfectly embodies all of those elements to the challenge. So
Yep.
good on you, Emily. Congratulations.
Yay!
Very well earned. We're excited to see you in the
Finale.
challenge.
Yeah.
Which looks to be very challenging for what we've seen so far. So the next look that we find out is Save Darla.
Yes.
Yep.
I personally did not really understand this one. I don't think it really read steampunk or blacksmith.
we were talking earlier about the fact that if you took off the vest, or the multiple vests, I guess, that he's got going on.
Multiple vests.
Yeah, he's got.
I did not notice
he's
that.
got like a nice Edwardian waistcoat and then this sort of confusing Western vest over it. And underneath that, he's wearing what appears to be unsullied armor from Game of Thrones.
Thank you.
That has
I
a
pointed that
furnace attached to the front of it. Yeah, I have to give Alexis credit for that. And she's absolutely right. Now that's all I can think when I look at the
It
wardrobe.
has the same color scheme, the pattern where
Yeah.
it layers on top of the middle. It looks
Yeah.
exactly like that, except, yeah, it has like a weird ventilation system stuck to the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Here's my feeling about this makeup. I don't think that it's terribly steampunk. I think it is a clean, well-applied makeup.
But I feel like that's what Darla always does, is a clean, well-applied makeup. And this was something that I'd been thinking about a lot as to what really bothered me about it. And it's that it lacks the creativity. I think she would be phenomenal working in somebody's creative shop.
Yes.
If she is given sketches of something to create, I think she would do a beautiful job.
Yeah.
I think she should be hired for many movies doing that work. But Face Off is a creativity challenge, and it's a creativity show. So she just has been so consistently lacking in the creative element, and I just don't understand how she's quite made it this far with work like this.
She absolutely has the technical skills. I don't think she has the design skills. And to me, and of course this is from the perspective of somebody who is not a makeup artist, maybe this was a ton of work, but it looks like she did about a third as much as anybody else did on this challenge.
I agree 100%. Well, the thing that I think too is, because Glenn even mentions, because she said, this was so far out of my element, and he said, I can see the self-questioning. And that's, I think, the issue that I have with her makeup, is I just want to say, you've made it this far. If you've made it this far, make some decisions. Like, make something big. Like, go big or go home, because at this point, you shouldn't be self-questioning. You should be going, hell yeah, I'm in the top of... That's amazing.
That's really great.
So don't have a situation where you go, well, here's a Edwardian jacket, and here's some Western vests, and here's a furnace, because steam, right? And there's steam in the furnace, and it's like he's a punk because he's got the long hair, and it's like it seems like it's taking these elements literal instead of looking at the overall concept of, this is the name of almost a costuming movement, really.
Absolutely.
And I think she went too literal with it, because...
To me, this is just the complete opposite of what we saw with Emily, which was something really, really unexpected, but that still fit that steampunk genre. And this, as you say, Elena, it's just it's a literal interpretation of the word steampunk.
It is. I feel like he's gonna ride on like a motorcycle with like coal in the back of it. I'm like, what? I don't fully...
I can see smoke coming out of his
because the goggles are very steampunk. Like, goggles are super steampunk, but then she takes the goggles aspect and says, well, I'm gonna not make them goggles. I'm just gonna make them pieces of his face. And it's like, why? Though I don't...
She thought she was being creative.
Yeah, I think the justification for that is that they're all cyborgs. And I did kind of like something that I believe it was Glenn or Neville pointed out about the fact that there is the skin going over the metal element underneath. Like, I liked all of that. I just still don't feel that this had the creativity factor of any of the other looks that we saw.
Even the chin piece felt like Terminator to me.
I actually was going to say this looks a little bit like the Terminator, and I can't really get past that.
Oh, can you imagine Terminator, but in the Wild Wild West? Oh my god.
Dothraki Terminator? That is terrifying.
I can't.
That's their next challenge. I'm gonna pick it. I'm just going to say nouns and be like, figure it out. So Aaron is brilliantly amused by that one.
we should be judges.
I feel like in our own AFTERBUZZ world, we are.
They should probably just have us in as judges on season 10 of Face Off.
I just feel like we would just have like this cowboy hat and there'd just be a bunch of adjectives and nouns like in it. And be like, shake it up and be like, okay, we'll pick 2.
Go. Figure it out.
Make my creation, monkey. Dance.
And make it beautiful and terrifying. And cinematic. And because that's our go-to.
And don't forget, whimsical.
Whimsical.
Oh my god.
I feel like, too, we keep going back to the cinematic thing. I would want to see the character that Emily's movie's in.
Yes.
I don't know if I would want to see a whole movie about just him.
Right.
But I would want to see that character.
like in a
Darla,
gang.
I don't even think, I
Not want to see that movie.
no.
Damn, straight out. Like, no.
Again, he's one of those people in the background that are like screaming.
Like with some sort of like weapon.
Yeah, like
He's got his
ah.
hammer, his blacksmith hammer, so that you know he's also a blacksmith. Because
I'm angry, but I can make you a
Otherwise-
shield.
Yeah. He's like the prototype droid that you just fight 2,500 of and they all get killed off in the first 20 minutes of the film.
Oh my god, I'm tearing up right now. It's so funny.
We're just gonna write these movies.
Yeah, do it.
It's up to everyone
AFTERBUZZ
watching now to
films.
watch them. So then it really comes down to who is going to go home and who is going to ultimately make it to the final 3.
Yes.
And I will say this was a very, very close call.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Logan pulls it out. And he's in the finals. His makeup is... Let's go back a couple times. His makeup, the one right before this one.
There she is.
There she is. Pretty
She's so
lady.
lovely.
So this one was, I think, conceptually one of my favorite characters that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Because it just brilliantly incorporates the steampunk element and the Old West. And I mean, it just fit the challenge to a T. It was just the technical issues.
No. I agree. I think that Logan, concept-wise, had a really fun and interesting idea. He did fabricate an incredible arm piece and did a bunch of filigree work on the headpiece, all of which turned out absolutely stunning. However, he did have a lot of issues with the skin portion of his sculpt.
Yeah, that chest piece really killed it for me.
It was
It
rough.
ruined
Yeah.
it. But what I don't understand is at some point you see that and you go, this isn't working. This would be, I think, a pretty easy fix. Grab some lace.
Yeah.
Glue that over, attach it to the dress, put a brooch in the center, and then it hides the whole thing. And, you know, fake it till you make it. If you can't finish
like,
it,
listen,
then put some lace on it.
Listen, Logan was talked out of doing his crazy large chest sculpt.
What was it
Yeah.
called?
So he,
Kajungas.
yeah, so
I
he-
asked like 5 times because it's my new favorite word.
so, you know, more diminutive though they may be, he couldn't bear to have his model's kajungas entirely covered up with lace. That's, I feel like that's...
But it would just be one tiny
would be
piece
so
above
Yeah.
the strap. It would
Yeah.
be above the strap even, where that goes across. So it could be almost like it was attached to the strap.
I gotcha.
And almost like a collar.
Oh, okay.
That would
I
be
was
like on the
yeah.
dress.
I was envisioning something very different.
Yeah, just short lace. Still show some kajungas. I clearly don't have a problem with it.
It's-
So,
I like your kajungas.
Yeah. How do you spell kajungas?
I spelled it Jungas. That was a made-up word spelling bee, and we both made it to the next round. Nice.
I would have failed because I would have started with a C, not a K.
Yes, Aaron, I wrote it with a C too.
But I guess that would be maybe
Well, you're wrong.
K-jungas?
I mean,
Kadjungas?
see, when I hear a C, I think of an S kind of, so it'd be sajungas.
Oh,
See, to me, I think
That's
I
the
was
Filipino in me. It's
like
kind of terrible.
cicada.
yeah. I feel like I was loosely basing it on the spelling of Cahuenga because
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking that.
Now every time I drive on Cahuenga, I'm gonna think
Kajungas.
So thank you for that.
you'll have
Or cojones. There we go. Or cojones.
Nice.
Kajungas and cojones. What a great combo.
There we go.
That actually works out really well.
Streets of
Cojones y
I-
kajungas.
Kajungas.
Oh my Where do you live? On the cross streets.
And people were like, on the street?
On the street.
This one,
Gross.
going back to the actual makeup, since that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I think it was smart for Logan to, as Ray's pointed out, do you really need to be focusing on the kajungas when you have all these other things to do? And reluctantly, but you know, it's like, yeah, you're right. But if he had had more time for this one, I think it would have been phenomenal. I want him to make this again, but with more time, so we can just, you know,
And
see
bigger
the full.
kajungas.
Yeah, and more kajungas.
Please.
Yeah, I want to see some boobies pouring some whiskey out of her arm. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No.
So, yeah, I think.
Wait, I'm sorry. Just speaking about, because I know you mentioned Race, but speaking about Race, when Logan made it through, they were like, Race is so excited, and Race was like, it's the worst cut ever.
Well, specifically what happened was Logan, in his pre-elimination interview before they revealed who was staying and who was not going to be competing in the finale, though of course they'll be back next week because the top 6 contestants are always all in the finale. It was really funny because Logan's like, I don't want to let Race down, and then they got to Race, just looking at his face.
His face is literally just.
I wish I could describe it for anybody who's listening, because it was just an absolute flat line.
He was like just riding a subway. Yeah.
His lips were literally just pencil thin.
Yeah.
It's like if there was a meme of it, I feel there would be a thought bubble where it's Logan with Race, you know, sitting in his thought bubble, and then just Race next to it, thinking about like
Chips.
a pillow.
I really need sleep.
Gonna say pizza.
I
pizza.
was gonna say pizza originally, but then I was like, if Race doesn't smile at the thought of pizza, then he's just not. He's a cyborg himself.
Yeah.
Because pizza is amazing.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, how could you not? Every time I think of pizza, I'm
agree.
just cheesing.
Hey! Oh my gosh, we've made it so far through the episode without a pun. I'm so glad we broke the streak.
I think we made it like past 2 episodes. Like, we haven't had our cheesy,
We haven't been as punny as we normally are.
Oh well, I'm glad to break
Beginning
the
We
of-
gotta
cycle.
spice this one up to make our show more interesting than the show that we're talking about for this episode,
Yeah, 'cause-
unfortunately.
Come on. But I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I just love that he was just dead inside for like face wise.
This, I have to say, I feel like if this was a team challenge and Darla was doing the application of Logan's design, this would have been one of the best things that we've ever seen, because that's what this was missing, was just that level of technical skill for the practical application of that piece, or at least, you know, a way to camouflage it. So, but the concept is genius. I love it. I would watch an entire movie about that character.
Yep.
Or have that be one of the like main side characters. So talking about our cinematic quality, I understand why that one made it to the next one.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we have, is Julian calling in? No.
What's happening?
Hello?
Hello?
I hear.
I'm just hearing feedback.
He's no longer with us.
Oh.
Oh, well,
all right.
Anyway,
We'll see what happens.
That was
that was
to make a terrible
just
joke.
We
Julian's
were sad
presence.
that Julian was sent home, so
Yeah.
now we're just pretending like he's here.
and now our hopes were ripped from us again. He's here. Oh no, he's not.
So Julian, I have to say though, he was fabricating for
trying
the
to call
very
again?
first time,
Yeah.
and it was, I think, pretty phenomenal for considering how much he was having to do.
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought it was fantastic.
This was one that I understand why they do say like it was very, very close, because why none of the contestants had really the passion for the steampunk.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody was doing something kind of out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I agree. And I love the overall silhouette of Julian's
Yes.
character. I think he really fits that Western aesthetic.
Like I can actually see like if John Wayne fell and they had to redo him. We must rebuild John Wayne. That's pretty much what he would look like to me, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like especially with his silhouette walking out.
I
thought it was
love
great.
that.
Yeah.
It's like the $5 million, the $1 Million Man,
The $6 million man.
$6 Million Man version of John Wayne, of these classic. I mean, this is one that I would watch. I would watch a movie that's entirely about that character too.
This was the most interesting character visually too out of all of them. I felt like.
I agree.
Julian, we all loved it.
I do love this one. I think Logan's visually, just because it had the weird angles in the arm and everything. I think that one, I understand why that one, since they both had kind of technical issues with it. But considering this is the first time that he's ever, really done anything like this, ever fabricated anything and made it look like a cohesive character.
Yeah.
And really everything, for the most part, there was no negative things that just stayed negative. Every judge had a compliment sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah, especially Neville. He was sitting there going, oh, it was his first time, but that was a very risky move for him to do. And I was like, well,
even said it's a great look.
It's a great look.
Repeatedly. It is. It's a great look. It looks really good. And the reveal with the hat.
Oh,
I know.
So awesome.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like that head sculpt was such a mixed bag. Like there were portions of it that looked awesome, and then there, as Neville pointed out, it did kind of look like there were just gears there.
Yeah.
It did. And since they were saying from the beginning, make sure that you're not just throwing gears in that don't do anything. Make everything look like it has a purpose.
Yep.
It did kind of look like a little haphazardly thrown together, but it had all the core elements.
Yeah.
That, I thought it was a good job of making sure that it still looked steampunk.
Yeah, I agree.
And I could see that scene where he takes the hat off in a movie as that just being how they introduce the character.
Totally.
And from the beginning, before he even says anything, going, that character is a badass. This is going to be, I want to see what he does next because he is awesome. That's kind of how I feel about Julian too.
I know.
I want to see what he does next, and so it's kind of a bummer.
I feel like when it came down to it, because both Julian and Logan certainly had more technical issues than either Darla or Emily did, when it came down to choosing which of the two of them was going to stay, because they both honestly had really interesting, fun concepts that really fit the whole Western steampunk aesthetic. I feel like this is actually one situation where they did take the artist's entire body of work into consideration, because Logan has literally always been safe or won. Basically, every time Logan has been a top look, he has won. So
that's true.
And Julian
is the Leonardo DiCaprio of Face Off.
He is.
Yes, he is.
He just, he gets so close and then doesn't win. That it kind of upset me that he never won a challenge.
I agree.
I'm like, he should have won something.
I know.
You're gonna send the man home before he wins anything. Like, there were some looks that I think were really up there.
Yeah.
So normally, I don't like that they focus just on the one makeup, but in this instance, it was one where you kind of felt like, well, this makeup was just clearly done better.
Yeah.
It was. Just the application of it.
Yeah. And I think that what also saved Logan was how incredible his fabricated pieces were.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see what Julian fabricates from this point forward.
I agree.
Now that he's kind of got it under his belt a little bit. And the most difficult way to kind of teach yourself to fabricate is, here's your time limit. Also, all of the world will be judging it soon.
Yeah.
So I just think that's highly commendable.
Yeah, and I think that he did a good job, considering it was his first time ever fabricating anything. And he made a really smart decision to make it look corroded with the paint job. So when you do that, you can kind of hide some of your technical imperfections.
Exactly. Camouflage the pieces that don't fully fit.
Work.
And I thought it was pretty smart.
Yeah.
They did a really
I
good
do too.
job. I really feel like at this point, I'm interested to see now, because the top three that are in the finale are not the top three from the beginning and throughout the show that I would really think would be in the top three. So I'm really interested
To see how it goes.
it goes down. If you could pick your dream top three going into the finale, who would you guys pick?
It would have probably been Emily, Logan, and Adam, I think.
I feel pretty strongly that I agree with that. this is gonna sound crazy because she was eliminated a ways back, and I might be sort of biased because I think she's a super rad person, but I think Jamie would have been a really interesting competitor in the finale because I think when she got eliminated, it was a situation where she just made one pretty bad decision, and even though she'd been top looks or won the past few weeks leading up to that one decision got her kicked out. And I think that she's a very strong competitor. Like, she has Darla's technical skills, but is way more creative.
And just kind of bouncing off of that, I think Jamie should be there at least in place of Darla, just because Darla's not really wowed, besides just made okay work or just, it's just mainly been passable work.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that the reason that Jamie sometimes would run into things that would put her in the bottom is because she did take creative risks, where Darla has really not.
Yeah. I just feel like I would rather have an A+ student most of the time that makes a C once than a B- student consistently.
Well, maybe probably like C.
I was gonna say like B+. Like, her it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Let's go solid B. Put it right in the middle.
Yeah, I think for all of our mediums.
But yeah, I kind of feel the same way too. Like, I really liked all of Regina's stuff up until the point that she was eliminated, and I really didn't understand why she was.
Me neither, because she had also consistently been on top before they kicked her off.
There was just a lot of contestants that I just want to see come back. What your top 3?
I'm pretty much just gonna piggyback off what Emma said. I would have liked to see Emily, Logan, and Jamie, or Regina. I would switch either one of those out, because I feel like we didn't get to really see their full. I mean, we knew their full potential, but I feel like it could have gone higher if they stayed on, especially for the finale.
You know what's cool? Sorry, you guys all looked at me. You know what was kind of just thinking about that is, like, I feel like all of the contestants we mentioned all had one memorable look that we look back in the season.
Yes.
Like, for me, it was that, for Adam at least, it was that giant troll creature that was so colorful. I think it was the troll, right?
The imaginary friend challenge.
Yeah, the imaginary friend challenge, the one that had the mouth that opened up. It was just so beautiful and such a perfect character that would fit in any movie.
Exactly.
And mine was, for Jamie, was the nature one, where she had like, it was
the sound challenge one where they weren't even top looks.
I know.
I have something to say about that.
But yes, that one was my favorite.
Yeah, I also her bridge troll, which she did end up winning for, was also just incredible.
And then Kelly's
Kelly.
The slicing of the tongue, the best one. That was probably the best look of the season. That was the most shock factor.
Honestly, my favorite look this entire season was the clockmaker's wife that Stephanie and Kelly did.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that one. Was pretty phenomenal.
It was incredible.
That was really good.
Yeah, I think that Kelly or Stephanie could have been really interesting in the finale as well. I mean, this is the thing. I love that there are 2 ladies in the finale. I just think that there were more creative ladies. As I have said throughout this episode, I think that Darla has very sound technical skills.
Yes.
I just think that she's lacking creatively.
No,
she just
I
hasn't
agree.
done too many makeups that have made me go, wow, that's really interesting. Which just kind of brings us back to the whole theme of this episode, that it was a little underwhelming.
Has she made us go wild with any of her makeup?
The doll, I think, was
that hers?
The cracked porcelain doll
with the mirror.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The problem with that doll, and I know you can't go back to other seasons, but the biggest like porcelain doll that I was wowed was Sasha from last season. That made that. I mean,
true.
that's the porcelain doll for all the seasons. And so when I saw Darla's, and I was just kind of like, cool.
Who made the my brain is just not working right now, but who made the one when we did all the 50s? Kind of.
That was the homemade.
That was the clockmakers.
Yeah,
because we based the entire thing off of that one makeup because of how much every single one of us loved it.
Yeah, I think that's my porcelain doll favorite. I think out of all of them. So.
And that was in the same season as Darla's porcelain doll. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta say, I have seen some looks this season that were, kind of underwhelming, but there are some that have just blown me away to the point that I really want to see. I want to see Adam's superhero in a video game.
Yes!
Yeah.
Adam and Logan's superheroes were incredible.
And this episode, I really wanted to see Julian and Logan's characters team up and just be buds,
out
robbing banks. And she distracts with Kajunga.
Yes.
And whiskey.
I feel like Emily's could have been in that same universe too as the
That's
Undertaker
true.
in that universe.
Very much so, yeah.
I can
That
see
would
them
make
all in a
sense. It's
big-
kind of like the villain that
Yeah.
like they were like the two good guys. And like
Yeah.
the Undertaker is the bad one. And then in the background there's the blacksmith making some armor for him.
Oh my god.
Out of focus.
All right, that might be the line. But yeah, I would say overall, I'm really just excited because they end this one with this cliffhanger of your night's not over yet. You're about to, we assume, immediately go into the finale. But as Aaron said, I laughed so hard when we were watching it. Aaron said, first, we have to talk about Mackenzie's dress.
Yeah.
It's not an episode of Face Off AfterBuzz if we don't mention Mackenzie's dress. Starting out, yes.
Amazing. One of the best dresses she's worn this season. This strappy top and big flowy skirt. And yeah, it was a little confusing because she was wearing high heels out on a dirt road, but she looked good.
She looked really good. She looked like she could be standing on the mountaintop in that dress because that was
No, and then it goes to like her soccer mom like cheering on the kids before the big game outfit. With her-
Mackenzie wore pants and it blew all of our minds in not a great way,
Yeah.
much like this episode. And there's one point we're watching and they're talking about the different looks and what's gonna happen next, and I just hear Aaron behind me say,
Mackenzie, I don't want to hear anything from you because you're wearing that.
It's true. The direct
Okay,
quote,
yeah, give me
which
the-
I wrote down was, I just don't want to hear anything from Mackenzie because her outfit is so average.
It's true.
she's never worn anything average ever. I don't know why I assume that she sleeps in ball gowns, but I just assume
With ball gowns and glitter.
No, that's exactly when she goes, good night.
Yeah.
And goes to sleep.
she just Beyonce's it. It's like, I woke up like this, and it's just like,
We should make a meme of
We should make a
Mackenzie.
meme of
it's
Mackenzie.
phenomenal. So yeah, I gotta say,
Maybe she was like, maybe it was like a sponsored kind of like artist. Or
From like Target or something.
Target. I mean, I know what you mean,
it was actually Kmart.
Oh, yeah.
Kmart still exists.
Okay, if we're really like digging into it, the problem is that she had that silver stripe on the side,
Yeah, I
and that's
didn't
what pulled it in and made it look very gym soccer mom.
It did look kind of
and
like
then her hair
track
was
pants.
yeah, and then her hair was kind of weird too.
I'm sorry, Mackenzie. It's just, if you host a show where the makeups aren't as interesting this week, we're gonna pay a lot of attention to it. There's just,
Yeah, I like what she goes,
wanna
I
look
don't know
at
if it was you,
something
Emma,
pretty.
who was just like, did she just go for a jog and then just like came on set? Like,
but if she went for a jog, I feel like that's what she would wear because she is a goddess. Like,
Yeah.
I would be in my
It's true.
sweatpants and
If this were
crying.
if this were an outdoor athletic challenge and everyone was wearing gym clothes, then Mackenzie would have been amazing. But
yeah, I just love that she still had sparkles. Like,
it was just subpar for her usual elimination stage.
how we feel
outfits.
about this episode as a whole. But it makes me very excited about the finale.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this was like the eye of the tornado. It's the calm before the storm where they're like, all right, it's Face Off, relax a little bit. Then the finale is going to be like, everybody's mold breaks, everything, the lab catches fire.
They have to do the makeup while the lab's on fire.
They have, using the fire as an element. Incorporate it.
With Neville like with sleeveless.
no.
See, I would just be distracted too. And they're like,
Yeah, I think
Mackenzie is in an awesome outfit and don't look at it. Yeah, I'm excited for the finale. I think it's going to be a really, really good one. So we're very sad that Julian
Yes.
Very
I'm
sad.
actually
Not
tearing
going
up
to
for you,
be-
good sir, right now.
he's not going to be in the finale. We were also hoping we would get to talk to him on this episode,
Yeah.
but it's okay. We'll have him call in hopefully next
finale.
episode for
Yeah.
the finale. And I'm gonna miss you guys too.
Why would you say that?
So now that we're all gonna go and cry as soon as the show is over, be sure to follow us on YouTube if you have not subscribed already. We are again youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. iTunes, SoundCloud, over 400 shows. So even when we're gone, promise you'll find something good on there. Also, be sure to tweet us. We love hearing from you guys, especially going into the finale, wrapping up this season. Use that hashtag ABTVFaceOff. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at That Alana Jordan Girl.
And you can find me on Twitter at AAMO Music or on Instagram _AAMO Music.
And you can find me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe, also Instagram at Emma Fyffe, and you can watch me on Sundays on the Transformers Robots in Disguise after show here at AfterBuzzTV.com. It's super fun. You guys should watch it. Also, if you like Sailor Moon, I do a Sailor Moon podcast outside of AfterBuzz. It's called Love and Justice. You should look it up if you like Sailor Moon or the sound of my voice.
All right, I have a lot to say, so here we go. I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me all over the interwebs as atorres890. You can also find me here at our sister network, Black Hollywood Live, doing geek, nerd, and tech stuff. I'll be talking video game news for all you awesome people out there. Also, a tweet from Emily. She says, I love you guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily.
Also, last thing before we go, my family and I, we've been coaching kids in basketball for years now, and we are trying to send our last group of kids to Miami for the East Coast tournament. So if you guys can head on over and tweet at me that you would like to donate whatever you can, because we need to fly 40 kids to Miami. So if you can help us out, that really appreciated. So my parents and my family, it's vtelitebasketball.com.
Awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
That was a lot.
Well, we will see you guys right back here next week for the epic Season 8 finale of Face Off. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.